What's going on, everybody? It is the one and only Q here from Retro Q Gaming, and hopefully, today is going to be the last time I need to talk about the Analogue Pocket until next May when it arrives. And hopefully it's amazing, and hopefully we get to play the shit out of it, and hopefully I get to stream a crap load of stuff on it. Anyway, back to the point. So why am I talking about the Analogue Pocket this time? Well, after a little bit of a Rickroll troll last week, when Analogue teased us and debated us with a time and date that turned out to just be the announcement of the proper pre-orders of the Analogue Pocket, we all thought that it was the actual time of pre-orders of the Analogue Pocket. Hell, I even left work early to get home to be there for what I expected to be the pre-orders for the Analogue Pocket, and was thoroughly debated. But anyway, here we are 1 week later, August 3rd, when the pre-orders officially went live. 8 a.m. PST, which is 4 p.m. here in the real world. And of course, like a hard-working man that I am, I ducked out early. Again, one of the benefits of being the boss. So, what happened anyway? Well, I managed to get my pre-order. I managed to get a black Analogue Pocket, I managed to get an analog dock, and I managed to get the hard case. The only 3 items I attempted to pre-order. I managed to get all 3 of them. Couple all of that with $35 international priority shipping, and I am a happy camper. Now to wait 8 or 9 months and hopefully not lose my mind or motivation in the meantime. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to celebrate the fact that I managed to get one, because the truth of the matter is, many people out there did not manage to get one. And I want to talk about that. Now, depending on what way you look at this, for some reason, when I looked at all of Analogue's previous products, after their first one, the original, what was it, NT Mini or just Analogue NT, the one that was €500-600, that kind of one. After that, when they started bringing out the NT Mini, the Super NT, the Mega SG, and stuff like that, when I looked at what they were going to deliver with the Analogue Pocket, obviously it is a fantastic looking product. I mean, that's why I ordered it. But the point is, for some reason, in my mind, default automatically, I did assume that there would be less of these units available than any of their previous products, with the exception of their original Analogue NT, or whatever the first one was called. I think it's called the Analogue NT. With the exception of that, I expected there to be less of them. But I didn't realize just how little it would seem. Now, I'm not sure if it's down to a couple of different things that all come to, or most of them, which come from sheer numbers, at least we'll get to that in a moment, or if it's the overwhelming demand. But frankly, I think it's a combination of all 4. So let me talk about all 4 of these real quick before we go any further. Number 1, I, for some reason, like I said, did expect them to be creating less of these units than any of their previous ones. Naturally, the NES is a very big thing in the US. It's not as big of a thing in Japan or here in Europe, but then you have the SNES, which is the greatest console of all time and is number 1 and beloved all over the world in all of these regions. You've got the Mega Drive, which is fairly beloved as well. Sure, it's not up there on the same level as the SNES, but it's maybe 1 tier down, so a lot of people would have wanted that as well. But when it comes to what we have with the Analogue Pocket, the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance, that's not even including the stuff like the Atari Lynx and all the extra Game Gear adapters and all them, but just the Game Boy stuff in general. Despite how popular the Game Boy was worldwide, and in fact the Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Pocket, for some reason I still just expected there to be less of these. So maybe there was less of these. Maybe that's why. Maybe also it had something to do with they were playing it safe. Maybe they didn't expect this much demand for the product. Also at the same time, possibly, not sure if this was the case or not, but possibly they're creating artificial demand and artificial scarcity. Now, again, there's a whole big debate about whole artificial scarcity the whole way around the place. Jeez, I just said a whole lot of times. But anyway, that is one other potential factor in there as well. And of course, there's the obvious one, because we are in the middle of 2020, so it would be completely remiss to discount the possibility of Corona-chan having some effect on this. After all, it was delayed 8 or 9 months, so that could have a knock-on effect there as well. And of course, like we mentioned the whole time, there could be just a sheer overwhelming demand that they completely underestimated. Now, let me give you a quick example. By the time I got home and pre-ordered all these things right at 4 o'clock when they went live, it was 4:02 by the time my pre-order went through and that I got billed for it, I got my confirmation email. Now, I have people telling me that up to 4:03, approximately 1 minute after my confirmation was complete and my order was processed and billed, people were telling me that right then and there, they were having orders declined, cancelled, sold out, whatever it was. Now, I'm not one to give specific facts on that stuff. All I can say is that it took Analogue 8 minutes to make an announcement, so 4:08, to say that they were all sold out. Of course, we don't know which sold out first. We don't know if they sold out equal. We don't know which ones were cancelled or whatnot. We don't know when it was sold out and what the delay was between the sellout and the tweet announcing as much. Of course, Analogue have naturally said that they will be making considerably more of these in subsequent runs, and I really hope that everyone else out there gets one of these. Everyone who wants one, at least anyway. I don't want anyone to be completely fleeced by scalpers. Scalpers are scum. Absolute scum. But the point I want to go with here is that this pre-order, this pocket situation, is unfortunately a little bit of a mess. Again, it could just be down to the perfect storm of conditions, but it's a lot of unhappy people out there. When the Mega SG came out and sold out, there were a handful of unhappy people that I could see. When the Super NT came out and sold out, there were a handful of people that were upset that I could see. When this Analogue Pocket sold out, there are a huge number of upset people that I can see. So I'm just assuming that this is properly indicative of maybe the demand, the low production number, or a bit of both. All I can say is that I hope everyone who wanted one gets one. And I hope they don't have to resort to scalpers. Now, I may eventually make some follow-up videos on this, depending on what they do down the line when it comes to, I don't know, along the lines of a second or third production run or different changes or whatnot. But until then, we'll see how it goes. Try and hold out. Try and hold out. It's 8 to 9 months before the actual unit launches. They have plenty of time to make more. And I really hope they do. And I really hope you guys get exactly what you wanted when it comes to the Analogue Pocket.